Right now we're going to hear a great story from our one and only Sarah Herr. And so, where is she? Come on out, Sarah Herr. I want you guys to give it up for Sarah Herr tonight. She's going to share a story with us right in the middle of a teaching series called Listen Up, about listening to God speak, how to do it, when we do it, how do you know the voice of God? And so she's got a story that kind of, goes with that, right? All right, awesome. Sarah, just talk to us. You've got 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to share a story with you guys. It's not the story of how I got saved, but it's just a story of how God spoke with me. So I hope that it really encourages you guys. I'm going to use my phone, so excuse my bad eye contact.
Love you, Sarah.
Thank you. Okay, so convention just passed last year. My story's about last year at convention. There was a speaker named Marty Sloan, and he talked about how God can speak to each of us differently. And that was actually the first time I've ever heard that, and I was so encouraged by that God can speak to people differently. And I remember he was actually telling a funny story about how he would see people in churches like running around, like running out the doors, and he was like, I don't want to run a track meet. Like, I'm a big guy and I don't like that. And he thought it was weird, but he was like, it's cool for them if God speaks to them that way. And I've been that way sometimes. Like, I've struggled with fear, and I see like God speaks to someone and they fall on the floor, and I'm like, God, I'm kind of scared of that. So when Marty Sloan said that God can speak to us differently, I was like, are you serious? Maybe like God can speak to me calmly because I need calming. And I was just so thankful, and I kept that on my mind for a really long time. And then that was in the spring, and then in the summer, one night I was going to bed and I found a really big lump in my chest. And I was just so scared. I was crippled by fear because I was 20 years old, and I was like, what in the world? How did I not notice this for 20 years? And I was just really afraid, but I kind of ignored it with God. Like, I didn't talk to God about it that much because I was just afraid, and it affected my relationship with God. I didn't run to him like I should. And it really just kind of gave me more fear. Instead of speaking with him more, I spoke with him less. I wasn't ready to just be like, God, heal me miraculously, because I was just crippled by fear. And then at Momentum, how they do the 3 songs, you can go up to the sides, they did that. And I was like, okay, I'll go up for prayer because this is huge. I have no idea what it is. So I went up for prayer, and this isn't advice to you guys. Don't do this. I had a horrible attitude. So I went up for prayer, and there was a girl, and she had a line of people, so I would have to wait for her. And there was also someone else that was wide open, ready for prayer. And this attitude just came over me. I was like, I don't want her to pray for me. Like, I have an attitude right now with her. Probably because I was just hoping the song would end and I would miss out and not be able to get prayer. But I'm not telling you guys this to say, like, have a horrible attitude and God will bless you. But I'm showing you how much grace God really had for me at this moment. And so Megan Salazar was the girl with a line, and I waited in line. And I came up to her, and in my mind I was saying, I really don't want prayer. Like, I don't want her to say, oh, I'll pray for you to miraculously get healed and you'll fall on the floor and get healed. I didn't want that. And I didn't want her to say, I'll pray for you for strength so you can go to the doctor and you can get tests and you can wait out this period with peace in your heart. I was like, I don't want that. All I want is God to comfort me. Please speak to me differently. I don't know how you're going to speak to me, but please just speak to me some way. And it was just amazing how God spoke to me with my fear, with my attitude. He still was there. And I came up to Megan and I told her the situation, and she said, I have the exact same thing. She said, feel mine. And I felt the exact same bump in her chest. It was just crazy because it was the exact same thing. She said, I went to the doctor. This is what they said. This is what it is. don't worry. And I was like, I didn't even know that's what I needed, but that's exactly what I needed. And God was just so faithful. And then I'll try to be quick. I only have a few seconds, but the story didn't end there. A few months later, the exact opposite side started to hurt in my back. And I was once again crippled by fear. And I was just scared because it was my chest now, it was my back. And I still didn't want to go to the doctor. Don't take this advice either. I'm a nursing student, and don't just ignore the doctor. That's a bad idea. But I went to my chiropractor, and I actually didn't have insurance. I was going to my chiropractor 4 to 5 times a week, paying out of pocket, and he told me, you're going to have to do this the rest of your life. There's basically no way out of the pain. And so finally, I just got so tired of it that there wasn't a way out, that I finally was like, God, I'm just going to invite you in. And I went to the doctor, and she told me to go to physical therapy. And physical therapy is a really long process. So I was like, why am I here? Why do I have to endure this? But when I went there, I got light shed on the situation. The bump in my chest is my rib sticking out. She said, did you know that you have really bad scoliosis, which is when your spine is curved? I'm like, no, I didn't know it was bad. I heard it like once when I was 12 that I had it. She's like, you were a gymnast? I have no idea how you did gymnastics. Like, your spine is all curved. And I was like, I don't know, I guess God's hand was on me. But I still wondered, why am I here, God? Why this long process? Why do I have to train my body to sustain my crooked spine? And I just remember being in the back room of physical therapy, and they put me on electric something for my back. And I just started weeping with thankfulness that I started to see a way out. And I was just so happy, and it was such thankfulness. And I came to Momentum, and Pastor Pradeepan preached, Does God Have Your Back? That was the title of his message. I took it way more literally than he meant it. And I was like, I'm going to start trusting you, God, with my back. And as I went through physical therapy, weeks and weeks, I received more thankfulness than I ever have. Like, if I got in the car and drove 5 minutes and my back didn't hurt, I was praising God. I was praising God for everything, just any time my back didn't hurt. But I still had that one thought in my mind, why do I have to go through this long process? And don't base your theology on this, like God wants you to heal super slow and do a long process. But I met someone at physical therapy. Suddenly, I saw this person 2 times a week for an hour and a half every time. And I found out through my long process there that he was an atheist. And I got to invite him to Momentum. And so what I want you guys to get out of this is not to have a bad attitude, not to have fear, not to run from your doctor. But one, God can speak to you differently and in the way you need him to. 2, God has abundant grace for your situation. And for 3, to trust God in the process. And that's it. So thank you.